That's right. You read the title right. This is a psychological analysis of Spider-Man. Look, I am a freshly planted fertility seed in the womb in the world of psychology. I don't have a degree. I'm just a young adult. Oh my god, Lucy? Really? Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, I can't be going around diagnosing people, okay? That's gonna get people killed. It's also just cringe. So instead, I'm gonna do something very harmless. A fictional, beloved character. I warn you though, this video is probably going to be not safe for work. Oh, now my cat wants out after causing all of that destruction and chaos. Anyways, in this video, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the magical Marvel superhero filter off and apply real-life logic to Spider-Man, which means we're gonna act like Spider-Man is the only superhero in the entire world, and that putting on a costume and fighting crime is not a commonplace occurrence. I'm also gonna base this off of just the mean depiction of Spider-Man, you know, just the average, normal, regular, run-of-the-mill, red and blue Spider-Man depiction. I always had a bit of a different perspective on Spider-Man growing up because it's made very clear that Spider-Man's brain is not affected at all by the spider bite, other than the fact that, you know, he has spidey senses and a few other powers, which is very interesting to me because that means he's effectively still exposing a fragile human brain to the insane shit he does regularly. His brain still has the same limitations of any human brain. Which has gotten me to think over the years, Spider-Man must be a pretty miserable human being. I mean, he has to have a ton of weight on his shoulders, just like anyone else would. So generally, Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker, is an 18-year-old boy in high school who magically obtains superpowers because some weird experimental super spider bites him. At least in the Raimi version, there's also a variety of other versions that are very similar to that. Anyways, he gets these awful, disgusting superpowers, and due to his life situation, feels the need to adopt the Spider-Man persona, and he starts fighting crime while also trying to balance relationships. So let's start with the gigantic elephant in the room. Peter Parker is kind of a cuck, and that is a psychological goldmine. I'm sorry, but he is. At least Peter Parker is. Not Spider-Man, Peter Parker. He's morbidly shy, he's extremely weak, well, mentally anyways, he's scared to talk to girls, particularly Mary Jane. Even though Mary Jane is just an abusive wench herself, he can't meet basic deadlines of literally anything. He's terrible at work, he's terrible at literally everything. His relationships are shit. Can't even do anything his parents ask him to. However, considering the fact his parents, if you go to the earliest renditions of Spider-Man and watch the movies, were morbidly work-obsessed, basically narcissists, I would assume anyways, considering their position and lack of consistent care for Peter here, they died in a plane crash when he was a little kid, and, well, Peter was left to the custody of two old people, who didn't really supervise him that well, probably, because of their age. It's not shocking that Peter turned out the way he did. Fatherless, confused, insecure, a cuck. He probably would be an Andrew Tate supporter now, and that's not even a joke. But then his world turned upside down after being bitten by that spider and given his powers. Now, let's get the other elephant out of the room with the fact that Spider-Man definitely has PTSD, okay? I'm not an expert. I do have PTSD myself. Spider-Man has major PTSD. He has complex PTSD. He has the hardest PTSD you could ever imagine. Not only are there thousands of little tendrils coming out of his fingers and his toes and God knows where else, he also has like NASA-level knowledge of the world around him, just considering the things he's seen and done. He also deals with freakish, inhuman shit constantly. The most disgusting, disturbing stuff ever that would absolutely mentally wreck anybody in the real world. He also has the ability to just magically scale buildings with no effort and climb up any surface, as well as suspend his own human body from structures with webbing that he built from his own rocket science knowledge or whatever he has. Holy shit, that is horribly traumatizing stuff. He should be in a psych ward. None of this is acceptable. And I know a lot of comic book nerds are going to be like, oh, that's not what happened. That's not. I know, okay? I know I don't have the specifics very well. I'm not really a big comic book guy, but just like, wow, okay? Just the base story here. This is traumatizing stuff. And even though he has this superhuman intelligence because of the spider bite, it's still a human brain, okay? And it's seeing that stuff. I mean, Jesus, man. He also has a terrible relationship with his girlfriend, Mary Jane, and he also, when he has other types of girlfriends and other incarnations, he also doesn't have a very good relationship with them either. But yeah, Mary Jane, like I said, is just a needy bitch who doesn't shut up about Peter needing to give her more attention, even though Peter literally has the weight of the world on his shoulders every day. And Peter just acts like a total cuck and gives in to every single demand she makes, no matter how obnoxious. And she literally constantly fucks other men and then goes back to Peter after fucking them enough times. I'm not joking. It's really toxic and unhealthy. Peter is also just kind of shit at everything, like I said. He's a bad worker, a bad friend, a bad lover. He's not even that good at being Spider-Man, really. He gets into controversy and trouble constantly. So far, Spider-Man, in my opinion, would probably have some kind of weird, disturbing mixture of PTSD and really low self-esteem. But let's not forget about his probably crippling anxiety, which I think we all could relate to. His infamous spidey senses indicate that he feels morbid anxiety for absolutely any crime or bad thing happening in his radius at all times. That sounds absolutely horrible. And who can forget about his psychotic tendencies? Yeah, that's right, I said it. Come on. If you were granted the gift of godlike powers in real life, it would be in literally everyone's best interest to just reveal yourself to, I don't know, scientists, the military, allow humanity to sample your blood maybe. That might cure everything, literally. But it takes a real fucking asshole to just decide he's gonna use it to play God and be a vigilante, which, let's be honest, vigilanteism is highly narcissistic in itself. But not only does he go as far as to do that, he made some weird, like, Daft Punk style persona for himself by creating this costume and, you know, kind of embracing the Spider-Man name and making it fun and playful. No doubt he did this to garner some kind of support system or network. Even if he wouldn't admit it in the comics, I mean, just come on, obviously. You can argue he's done it to cover his identity, but, like, you could easily do that in a much less standout way. He could be much smarter about this. He's kind of stupid, actually. He's also always throwing around jokes at inappropriate times, no doubt to showcase his dominance. However, the little kids in the theater don't understand that. They just think that he is, you know, cool Spider-Man making funny wisecracks, but no, I know what he's doing. And it's very detached from reality, in my opinion. Oh, and let's not forget about the fact that he must feel an unbelievable amount of confidence to just a psychotic degree simply due to his superhuman abilities, no doubt. I mean, that's not a healthy self-image at all. And he can't get therapy for any of this because he would just have to reveal he was Spider-Man, and I don't think anybody on God's green earth would keep that a secret. Except for maybe, like, Mary Jane or something. Not to mention, I just wouldn't trust this guy to be doing all of this stuff, superpowers or not, and I don't think I'd be alone. I think most other people would agree if Spider-Man was real. I mean, just because he has these weird, freakish powers that we can't rely on. We don't know if this is sustainable or not. But just because he has that doesn't mean he knows everything. And him playing God in these life-or-death situations is frankly narcissistic. But, I mean, I can't blame him for behaving that way, considering his predisposition. Anyway, my overall summary of Spider-Man's mental health as an amateur nothing: he's a lunatic. He's a complete and utter fucking lunatic. He's a boy who grew up fatherless and sad and alone and sexually frustrated, only to be, let's be real, cursed with these horrible spider powers that just allow him to transcend human DNA, only to then watch his fucking uncle get fucking murdered in cold blood by a guy he purposefully let go free instead of giving him consequences. He couldn't cope, so he completely divorced from reality and created an image, a better and more acceptable grandiose image to himself, Spider-Man. What better way to cope with his disaster of a life than to exploit his disgusting sacrilegious inhuman abilities by playing God and preventing tragedies that perhaps the universe intended to happen? In real life, I think Spider-Man would be hated. I think he would become a political hot topic. I think he would be hunted and harassed and doxxed 24/7, and I think he would become a social media celebrity. And he would probably have a lot of sex, and therefore sex scandals. I think he would become miserable due to isolation because no one wants to be around him for any other reason than he's Spider-Man because, oh my god. I think he would face numerous challenges throughout his entire life due to his, frankly, disability. And he would probably delve into alcoholism, if not even more serious self-destructive behaviors. Spider-Man in real life would probably be detained by police or mental health officials for having a behavioral, emergency as an adult. I don't know much, but I know this, okay? Spider-Man would be a disturbing sight in real life psychologically. And I guess I said I was gonna, amateurly diagnose, not doing that, not able to do that. Spider-Man, the character, I just don't really know what to say. There's so many elephants in the room that the comic book and the movies don't address, so I have to really just apply this real life logic to it. Anyways, that's all for today. See ya.